Hi everyone, and my name is Cornelius. Welcome to this video. In this lecture, we will take an in-depth look at objects or object literals in JavaScript. So why I add literal to it is because in this video, we are not going to be creating objects based on class. Okay, we are not going to create a class for it, a user-defined class. We are simply going to be creating plain objects. Now, the definition of object is simple. An object is a collection of name value pair or key value pairs. Key value pairs is a better way to say it. So it's a collection of key value pairs of related data and functionalities. Now, this data can be in form of arrays, variables, or even functions and objects. Okay, we can have objects inside objects. And I know in this video, before this video, okay, we are here to talk about functions, but I'll make a video on functions very soon. So let's go ahead and create our first object. Sorry about that. So like a normal variable, we use the const keyword, but this is an object, not just your normal variable. And the name of the variable will start with an uppercase. The object will start with an uppercase. So let's create an object based on, let's say, a person, right? Person. Now we've created an object, but this is an empty object. There is nothing inside it. So you're going to go inside our object and create properties. So let's say first name. Right? So let's say first name John. Sorry, that should be a comma, not a semicolon. Last name Doe. And age 25. So you can add a comma to the last one and you can just leave it be anyhow you want to do it. So now we have three properties in the object and they are like variables, right? But since they are inside objects, we call them properties. Now, the name of a property, for example, age, right here is called a key. Then the value it holds is the value, of course. So that's why we call them an object, a collection of key value pairs. The key here is first name, the value here is John. The key here is last name, the value is Doe. The age is 25, is the age. The key here is age and the value is 25. So how do we use these properties inside an object? Obviously, we want to use them. That's why we are creating objects. So there are two ways to do it. We can use the the more popular one called the dots notation, right? And that is where we use dots in front of the object to access any property we want to access inside the object. Then there is the one called array member accessor. That is where we use square brackets to access the properties. So let's go ahead and see something like this. Console.log person dot, let's say first name. Sorry about that. Let's save and come down here to run our code, or let's just print all three, right? Ctrl T. Last. Then we come out here and Ctrl D again. And we do age. we save, come down here and run our code, node objects. And we see John Doe 25, right? So by using square brackets, we can do something like this. Let's say, let me use square brackets for the age. So we can simply go ahead and use square brackets and write age, but we write it like a string. So something like this. And when we save it, we still get the same answer, 25. Okay. Now you can use any of the two if you want to, but for me, I use the dot notation, and most people use the dot notation because it's just easier to use. Then inside our objects, we can add multiple things. Like I said, we can add different data types inside the object. Let's go ahead and add arrays. Let's say some. So please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much in advance. And for the array, let's do something like hobbies, right? Hobbies. And for the hobbies, we create an array. Inside the hobbies, we have reading, comma, watching documentary, we just write documentary, and football. So that is enough. Then we add a comma. And as I said earlier, we can also add objects inside our objects. Okay, so let's go ahead and create an object inside our object. So let's do contacts. And for the contacts, we also create another object, right? And inside the object, let's come down, we say email, and we do johndoe@gmail.com. johndoe@gmail.com. And phone number, we do 0123456789, right? Okay, so we come out here and let's create a function before we go ahead and run our code. So we are going to name our function greet. Let's use greet. Right. With the function our function is not receiving anything. I'm not going to explain what functions are in this video because we haven't worked on them. Then in the next video, we are going to talk about functions, right? So we need to add a comma here. So inside our function, we do console.log. What should we write? Okay, hi, and we use the backtick, okay, which is, it will help us to do string concatenation. So inside our backtick, we do hi, my name is. So we want to use the names up here, right? So we just do my name is my name is first name, this dot first name, the first name, this dot last name, this dot last name, and I am this dot age, years old, years old, right? And I am this dot age, years old. So let's just come here and break it. So with this, we are done with creating our objects. And once again, to access them, it is still the same way with dot notation and the array member accessor. So let's save, or let's come down here and print person. So we can see everything inside person. So let's save, come down here and run. So we get everything inside our object. So let's see how we can access the properties or elements inside this nested object and the array. So to do that is quite simple. We simply come here. Let's do the array first. So we do person.hobbies, right? Person.hobbies, and since it's an array, we are going to use the array member accessor, and we are going to put an index number. So we want to see the element at index number 2, right? Save, come down here and run the code. So we get football. Remember, in arrays, the index counting starts at 0. So in our array, we get 0, 1, 2. So when we put 2 here, we get football. Now, we can also do something like to go inside our object, right? The object up here, which is contact. Let's say we want to print out the email. So we simply come down here and do console.log person dot contact the email. So that's all. We come out here, we save and run the code. Oh, sorry, that's a small cap person. Control S, come down here and run. And we get johndoe@gmail.com. So no matter the amount of objects you nest inside it, okay, you simply keep nesting these dot notations, person.contact.email. In fact, we can still come up here and have object inside our array, right? So let's do something like this and actually make it more fun. And we have an object, and inside the object we do something like this. We do something like okay, let me say a is the value of a is hello or something. Hello, right? So we save it. Now we have an object inside an array which is inside an object. So how do we run it? We simply come down here, console.log So what do? We do person dot, what is our array? The name of our array is hobbies, right? The name of our array is hobbies, and the object is at index number 3, right? Our object is at index number 3. So we put in index number 3, and we come out here, we use the dot notation, and immediately we get A. So when we run the code, what do we expect to see? We get hello. Okay, hello is the value of the key A. And we can also invoke our function, right? So we can simply come down here and say person dot greet, right? We invoke it and we save our code, come down here and run it. And what do we get? We get, hi, my name is John Doe and I am 25 years old, right? But there's space here. My name is John Doe and I am 25 years old. So we can also use the dot notation to add more properties to our object. For instance, things like this, we can come down here and say person dot gender, let's use gender, right, equals male. Then we can even use the array member accessor also. We can do something like this, person dot, no, we want to use the array member accessor. So we use something like this. Let's create a boolean. Yeah, that is the data type we haven't put inside our object. So let's use boolean. So we say person is tall. We come down here and say equals true, and that's a boolean value, right? So when we run the code and we come down here and console.log person, what do we get? We see that gender and is tall has been added to our object. Okay, we see last name, age, first name, hobbies, contact, greet, and now gender and is tall has been added to it. So we've had some fun. What are other things we can do? We can do with objects. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll show you another way we can create objects, but this way is not really recommended. Okay, I just want to show you that it's possible to also do something like that, and it's kind of related to the way we created person.gender and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and create a new object. Const, let's use pet, right? And we set it equals to an empty object. So then we come down here and say pet dot, okay, animal is dog. Okay, we go down pet dot breed, breed equals okay, let's use the Queen's dogs, corgi. And then we come out here and add one more property to it. So let's say pet.name equals okay, what name should we give our dog? Lily. Yeah, and that's the end of it. So when we console.log pets, right now, what do we expect to see? Console.log pets. What do we get? Come down here and run the code. So we get a new object with animal inside it, breed, and name. So we get a new object. Now this is not a very good way to create objects, right? This one, but I'm just letting you know it's possible. So what's next? What next? Okay, let's talk about something that I haven't explained yet. The this keyword. Okay, this. So I'll create a separate video where I explain what this means in detail, right? But in this context, this is used to represent the objects we are working with. For instance, when I say this.name means person, right? When I say this.first name, I'm saying person.first name. It's like for me saying it's like saying something like person dot first name, right? Person dot first name, or person dot age, person dot age. Okay, that is what this stands for. So this represents the objects we are working in. So in this case, that's why you see, okay, when I hover over it now, you can see all the objects, all the properties inside our object. You can see the hobbies, it's an array, the age, number, and everything inside it. But I'm hovering over this. So that's to let you know this represents the objects we are working with. So in that video, when I talk about this, we are going to dive in deeper and explain everything in details and how you can use it efficiently. So that's all for this video. Please subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.